Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Influence Me. I'm super happy. Today, we have two amazing guests. Ladies and gentlemen, with us today, we got Kings and Queens Party Bus in the house.
Oh, baby. Yes,
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
I needed to get my energy up because you guys are, used to the nightlife and party vibe and stuff. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate your guys' time. I know you guys are busy. And are you guys desvelados from last night? Were you guys working?
We actually last night, he worked during the day, and then we did get to enjoy the night off. We had our drivers out there.
Yeah, we had our drivers doing our events and stuff. You know what I mean? And I want to appreciate you letting us come here. You know what I mean? And do this podcast.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's your first for you guys first podcast?
Yeah, it's our first one.
A little nervous?
Thank you.
It's a little nervous. A little nervous. You know what I mean?
We'll start warming up.
Yeah.
I want the audience to get to know your guys' story. You guys own a successful business right now. Obviously, in every business, there's their ups and downs. And I feel that a lot of people can relate to businesses. So that's the reason why I like having people like you guys on here, because I think that we can learn from your guys' experience, and it'll make it a little bit easier and less troublesome for people that are barely starting out. Mm-hmm. Before we get started, I want you guys to introduce your guys yourself to the audience that's watching, who you guys are and what you guys do.
Okay, my name is Marlo. So what I do, I cut hair. I'm a barber, and then I do the party bus business. And, I'm a family man. I got 3 kids, an amazing wife.
All right, guys. So my name is Diana. I am the owner of Kings and Queens Party Bus. I am basically the one who handles the show, I'm a mother of 3. I have 2 boys and 1 daughter, and my lovely husband. And this is us. We are the owners behind the scene of the whole party.
How is that? Before we get started with your journey, how is that party life? Like that vibe of like just experiencing fun every fucking weekend.
To be completely honest with you, I had my kids like back to back. So I have a 12, a 10, and a 9.
Okay.
So when I had my kids, I was fully dedicated. And so now that we're in this industry, I feel like it's just become something that I wasn't able to do at a younger age. I'm 35 now. And it's fun because my kids are a little bigger, so I don't really have to worry about them as much. And it makes it more time for us to also have fun and be able to meet new people. And it just opens a lot of new things that we're not used to. And it makes it fun. It makes it a lot more fun.
So let's talk a little bit about how you guys met before we get started with the business. What's a love story like? I mean, how long have you guys been together?
14 years.
14 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So for that to be like still going strong.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys had to have like an amazing bond in the beginning, and for that many years. So talk to me a little bit about how you guys met.
It's crazy, you know what I mean? So I used to work at Homeboy Industries when I was 19 years old. So I used to have a friend, and he's like, hey, let's go hang out at my friend's house. They want to go hang out and stuff, and I was like, okay, let's go, and then we went. And then I always tell her as a joke, like, oh yeah, we met at the porch, remember? So
so long story short, my mom was like the tia that all the guys used to come over and hang out. And she would cook, and they would like, oh, let's go eat at the tia's house. And there he is. He came, and that's how I met him. Yeah, he came to hang out with my mom. And
so she, obviously she seen me, and we caught it, we went eye to eye, and then. Who made
the first move or what?
Well,
really, it was a friend.
Well, her mom's friend, which our friend, when she's the one that called her and be like, hey, I'm having a soup. Bring your friend with the guy with the green eyes. Bring him. And then so I think I don't know. I'm
pretty sure you invited me to the movies, and then from there,
we went to the movies, and then we end up being good friends. And
how old were you at the time?
I was 19 years old, and then she was 21.
I was 21.
Yeah. You guys are okay. You guys were in school and stuff, or you guys were just working and stuff?
No, I used to work at Homeboy Industries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So me at 21, I had already been working for Ralph's, the grocery store.
Okay.
So I started when I was 18, and so when he met me, I kind of already had like my own. I was already my own person. I had already been. I started really young on taking care of myself and stuff.
Okay. So being an entrepreneur, obviously, I don't think that you can you can, I mean, I maybe you can learn the skill, but when you're born with it and when you grow up watching it, I feel that it comes more natural, and that's what shows for a lot of people that are successful. How, you guys being entrepreneurs, how did that come about? Because like, what did you guys go through growing up? Did you guys see anyone as entrepreneurs growing up?
No, yeah. Honestly, I'm the first generation in my family to own my own business.
Oh, shit.
Everybody in my family has always worked, and that's work till you retire. So for me, I worked at Ralph's for 15 years, from 17 to recently 2 years ago. He's one who's super the entrepreneur, and he chose to be a barber, and that's where the start of it was. Because being a barber, you're really your own boss. You schedule yourself. You're your own entrepreneur. Basically, that's where it all started.
Yeah. Talk to me about a little bit of your entrepreneurship background.
So, since I was a little kid, I just have it in my, I could say, the struggle I came from, seeing my mom, I get on my feelings with that, yeah, because you start thinking all that when I was, but.
Well, talk to me a little bit about that, because I feel that a lot of people that, we went through a lot of hard times too, as entrepreneurs, and a lot of times, those emotions are what fuels us, and those emotions are what keeps us going. So talk to me a little bit about your childhood, or talk to me a little bit about what led you to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So, when just seeing my mom busting her ass to be able to feed us and stuff. So that's the thing that kind of got me, kind of clicked in my head. And since I was a little kid, I used to always when I was younger, I was always be in the streets and always trying to find ways to make money to be able to buy myself like some chips, for example, stuff like that. So, and then we had and then when I got a little older, I had my own kid and all that, and then I was like, dude, she's pregnant, I'm having a kid, I need to figure out what to do, So I started working at a agency. When I started working at this agency, and I was working my ass off, and try to make money. And I was literally back in those days, the minimum wage was $8 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was working, and I was I will never forget that day. It was they put me to work at a construction, and I was working there. Literally, I was gonna give up. I was in 4 hours, and I was like, dude, I got 4 more hours to finish this job.
Yeah, you're counting
I was
hours,
sweating, and I was like, dude, should I give up, or should I just finish this 8 hours? And I was like, all right, I'm gonna just finish this 8 hours. Let's get this money. Boom, I get paid, right? I get $55 for those 8 hours, right? So I'm like, dude, I need to figure out what to do. So I was I used to get my haircut by my friend. And I was like, dude, I like the whole industry of, how it is. You're, you're cutting, you come whenever you want, you build, you got your own schedule, So I was like, I'm gonna go to school for that. I want to be a barber. And then from there, I started doing the barbering.
How long did it take you from starting to being a barber till when you started seeing success as a barber?
To start, it took me about 5 years, you could say. Yeah.
I think a lot of it had to do with, so we used to live out in the LA Glendale area. Mm-hmm. And then moving to Fontana, he had to build all over again, basically a whole new clientele.
Damn.
Yeah. So, I started, I'm always been, she says, an entrepreneur. I'm always trying to see what movement. So I used to, and then I have jumpers. I started doing the jumpers, tables. Well, before that, I started, I haven't got no shame to say it. I used to sell hot dogs, downtown in LA. No, Highland Park. I used to sell hot dogs in Highland Park. And I used to sell hot dogs. I always try to find ways to make money, and
that led back to when we bought our first home. Marlo was like, oh, we're going to buy our home. And then we had a certain amount of time. And because, our lease was going to go up for a condo that we were renting in Glendale. And we were practically playing the same thing. And he's like, dude, we're going to buy a house. And then we went to, meet with the lender. And he's like, okay, this is how much money, you got to come up with based on what we wanted. So he's like, you know what? I got to grind. So he was out selling hot dogs, tacos too, no? Yeah.
So it started with
On
tacos.
Figueroa.
I started at tacos in Highland Park, and then from there I went to sell hot dogs. And it's, you know, my friend used to be like, dude, you're selling hot dogs. And I'm like, hey, man, you know what I mean? I don't got, like, that's what I say, like, I don't got no shame to say it, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We got to, you know what I mean? I'm a type of person that I like to, you know what I mean?
Move and be active. And
exactly.
shit.
Like, move and be active to be able to, you know what I mean, feed my family, you know what I mean? And find a ways to, you know, survive. And, you know what I mean, this California is very expensive, you know what I mean? You got to find a way how to make money and stuff, you know what I mean? So then I bought jumpers, tables, and chairs and stuff like that. I started doing events like for parties and stuff like that. And, but, you know,
how old were you guys when you guys bought your house?
I was 26 years old.
26 at the time.
I was 28.
Yeah. Was that like a proud moment? I mean, because it's a big deal.
So, one of Marlo's conversations, we were like, he's like, oh, what is one of your dreams? And I was like, I want to own a home before I'm 30. That was like, you know, a little close, like in the beginning of our relationship.
Yeah.
I was like, one of my dreams is to own a home before I'm 30. So at that age, I was 28. So it was a big, big dream, you know, come true for me because I come from a very rough background where if I wanted something, I had to work for it. So that leads into why I started working so young because, my mom was there, but she was also not there at the same time. And my dad was just never there. So anything that I wanted, I had to work for. So when he met me, I had my own little place, you know, and then he asked me, like, what is it that you want? What is your biggest dreams? And for me, it was really, I want to own my home by the time I'm 30. So it was a big, big accomplishment.
How was your childhood like?
It was very rough. You know, my mom, she still lives a little crazy life. She goes out a lot but she moved I grew up in Silmar, like the valley. And when my mom decided to move back to Glendale, because that's where all my family is, I didn't want to go because I only knew that, like the valley, that's where I grew up. So I actually lived with one of my friends going through high school and everything.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
So they became like my second family, and I'm very thankful for them. And then from there, you know, that's when I started working at 17. Because if I wanted anything extra, you know, it was up to me to go get it. You know, if I wanted my own car, if I wanted my cell phone.
What were your feelings like at that time? Like, emotionally, was it just a norm for you because you started at such a young age?
Yeah.
Or were there any emotions attached to that in terms of like anger or grudge?
You know, honestly, I didn't have any time to really think about myself because I have a younger sister and a younger brother. So my thing was always to be like, how can I lead from example? Because I'm going to be their biggest example. So I was always like basically second mom to them. So that was my thing growing up, is I wanted to be the biggest example for. So I didn't really have time to be angry, or I didn't see it that way. I kind of see it like everything happens for a reason. And I feel like everything that I grew up, you know, how I grew up, it made me the person that I am today. And so, you know, as an advice that I could give to people is, you know, everything happens for a reason and it gets better. You know, you just have to keep going.
To keep pushing.
Yeah.
Now, your guys' relationship, obviously, both of you guys had a little bit of hardship growing up.
Yeah.
Your guys' clicked together. What do you think makes you guys such a great combination? Because there's been time. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I tried getting my girl in my business, and she's like, I don't want nothing to do with your shit. You know, she's like, just you take care of that, and I'll take care of the home. What is your guys' do you guys think your strength together as a couple?
I think, you know, what I think is because we come from the same lifestyle, I'm guessing. And it's like, only God knows why he put us together. You know what I mean? It's like, because we have similar lifestyle, you know what I mean? Like the way we grew up as being kids. And we, you know what I mean? And that's what I think, you know what I mean? That's what I think because, you know what I mean? We've been together for 14 years, not anybody. When people ask, like, how long you guys been together? And we tell them 14 years, be like, what, 14 years?
Yeah.
Like, because you don't hardly hear that, you know what I mean? There's people that can maybe be with somebody for maybe a year, you know what I mean? So
and we have a lot of similarities. Like, so his birthday is April 30th and I'm April 27th. So we're both Tauruses. So at the same time, it can make us clash. But I feel like, for the most part, I'm I'm very more calm where I'm at in my life. I kind of see things like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth an argument? Because 4 years ago, I almost lost him. So he had internal bleeding to the brain.
Oh, fuck.
And yeah, and it just made me realize, like, in a second, anybody could be gone.
Yeah.
So I think that also brought us a lot closer, and it makes us, like, when we're mad, and I tell him, like, don't walk out the door mad, because we don't know what could happen. In just a second, things could happen. So I think for him, I always tell him he could go out and sell a water bottle, and if he could sell it for $10, he can. And I'll come back like, I couldn't sell it. But I'm also the one on the back end that's like, okay, I got this. I could do this. I could do that. Well, he's out grinding.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about that situation, or is that like something more private?
Oh, no, I don't mind speaking about that. I'm very sentimental. I am, because when I talk about that, I start thinking, like, I thank God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thank God, because I'm able to still be here for my kids.
Yeah.
And be able to do what I'm doing for them. You know what I mean? We're not promised to be here tomorrow. You know what I mean? I went through a pretty hard time with that. You know what I mean? Only she knows. And like, yeah, like,
So the doctor
I remember when she tells me, because I don't remember, I was in coma, like, I was really out of it. I don't remember nothing about it, because I was, like, I don't remember who visited me. I don't remember, like, me being, like, when I was in the hospital. I don't remember nothing, like, literally nothing. I don't remember. All she tells me that when I was, when I got out the hospital, like, I was literally smacking my head and telling her, like, I'm going to die, like, and I used to cry to her because I couldn't believe I was alive.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like, so that I used to tell her, like, I'll be up till like 4 or 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, like, be up with me, talk to me, like, like.
You're scared to go to sleep. You're scared to go to sleep?
I don't know if I was scared of going to sleep. I just couldn't believe I was alive. Like I was in a whole position. Like, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, like I would just like forcing myself to try to be able to, because they told her that it was a possibility I was going to be a vegetable, so I literally, as bad as I was, like me not remembering, like, I remember myself like trying to force myself to walk. I forced myself to walk.
You're a walker.
Yeah, so I forced myself to walk, to be like, because I told myself in my head, I'm like, dude, I can't let myself go down like this. Like, I need to force myself to walk. I need to force myself to be me, because, like, to be in a situation like that, like, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy to be in that situation. You know what I mean? Like, to see, like, to lose your life, and to, I'm blessed to be able to, be able to, be here and speak for it. You know what I mean? Because if I would have been a vegetable, if I would have been dead, like, I wouldn't be been able to speak about it. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed. That's why I, you know what I mean? Like, it's a blessing what I'm able to do for my kids at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, be able to show them a father, a father figure.
Second chance.
Yeah, a father figure, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a blessing, like, it's a big, big blessing for myself to be able to show my kids, the whole, like, leave them something at least, show them that, an example of a father, you know what I mean? I never had a father, I never had that father figure, you know what I mean? So for me to be able to show them that, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a big blessing.
How tough was it for you? And I ask you because I went through a lot of medical and, issues as well. Mm-hmm. And it was really hard for my girlfriend. It was for my fiance. It was really hard. And I appreciate her sticking by my side. And bro, like, you're blessed to have someone like her on your side, because it is hard. Yes. Can you talk to me a little bit about how it was for you?
Yeah. So same thing that I always tell him, because sometimes, like, I didn't understand his pain, but I was on the other end where, the doctors told me, don't be afraid. He's probably not going to know who you are. When he woke up, he didn't he's a very hands-on dad. So when he saw my kids, he was in so much pain that he couldn't give them no attention. So for me, it was very hard because he was in a coma, so he was unresponsive. There was no response, no like squeeze my fingers, nothing, shake your toes, nothing at all. And when they told me he has internal bleeding to the brain, you know, right away, you think the worst, like what? Like bleeding to his brain? They did come back and tell me that they run the scan, that they were able to stop it and everything was pretty mild. But they just warned me, like, he could be a vegetable. He's going to need to learn how to walk. So for me, I just had to stay strong and I prayed. I never left the hospital. Prayed and prayed and prayed. And his mom too, you know, one of her things is like, si me la vas a dejar, leave him how he was, complete. And the one of the nights that I was there, the nurse comes in and she's like, I have good news for you. She's like, your husband's awake. And, you know, right away, she's like, I didn't know if he was going to know anything. And she's like, he knows who you are. She said, I made sure he knows exactly who you are. She's like, I asked him, like, I told him your wife is waiting for you. And she goes, do you know her name? And she said that he kind of looked at her like if she was like dumb, like, what do you mean? And she was like, yeah, do you know her name? And he's like, of course, like Diana. And then she's like, okay. But he was completely out of it. He was saying that he lived in Miami. He kept saying, like, why am I here? I got to go. Mm-hmm. So it was very, very hard because there was a lot of nights where he wanted me to stay awake and I had to work at 5 a.m. And he's like, just talk to me, please. But I had to wake up at 4. Yeah. And so no java because he's like, oh, you're not going to stay awake from me. But I'm like, I got to go to work, you know. So it was hard, but, you know, I handled everything and we pushed through it. There was a lot of times where he was like, I can't do this. And he would say, like, a recovery from internal bleeding is massive headaches. So he's dude, like, these are, the doctor told me, like, just picture yours like 20 times, like, worse. So it was hard. But we pushed through.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about your guys' business. You guys' nightlife party bus business. How did that come about? The idea of having a rental company for parties.
He's always talked about it.
Yeah, I always talked about it.
He would always talk about it, but talking about it and doing it is completely different. You know? Yeah. So he would always talk about it, and then he wanted to do it.
Yeah. So when we got it for ourselves, like when we used to go, like, you know, when we used to rent it out.
Okay.
Right. When we used to rent out the party buses before we were owners of it. I seen the whole, like, oh, dude, this is pretty cool. Like, I would like to have one, you know? And then, so it always clicked in my head, always, you know? So, and then, you know, so I was like, I kept telling her about it. And I was like, you know what? I want to get one. And that's how we started, you know what I mean? It took us about a couple years, you know what I mean, to actually get it, you know? So now that we have our own bus,
we were on a trip, and then from that trip is when it was, I think the big decision was made. We were on a trip in Miami, and then that's when we were like, all right, I think it's time, like, let's do it. And then from there, when we came back, like, literally 2 days after coming back, he's like, oh, I found a bus.
Yeah, I was on it already. Like, I was like, you know, I had some money saved up. So I was like, you know what? I started looking for a bus, and I found a bus, and that's how we, you know, purchased it. We liked the bus, and that's how we got the bus, and then we started doing our...
How many buses do you guys have right now?
We have 2 buses.
2 buses, yeah. Okay. And how difficult is it to start? Like, what is, like, the process of someone, like, is there, like, you know, you have to have a license, special license for that? What's the process of owning a bus?
So you have to have your actual permits and license and the money, you know what I mean, to be able to purchase the bus, you know? Yeah. That's the main thing.
Not just that, like, you got to go through, like, so all buses have to be, like, CHP certified before they can run on the streets to make sure they come inspect one big one once a year, but then every 45 days we have to get, like, a normal inspection. We had to go and get, like, all the permits. We have to make sure our drivers are, like, Class B drivers with passenger endorsement because they're carrying people in the back. There's a lot of little things, like they get random drug tests, like it's a whole legit thing because they carry a lot of people in the back, and these are a lot of things we didn't know going in. But once we started, we were able to open our corporation. That's when everything just started flowing in, because once we registered as a party bus, then we kind of started getting the information, like through they would send us like, you need this, you need a pool notice, you need all these type of things, and from there, that's where it all just fell in place.
Was there people that you guys hit up, like other party bus owners, or like, hey, what do you recommend? Like,
No.
damn,
We did
you
it
guys
from
just
scratch.
went-
Yeah.
Yeah.
We literally just did it. You know what I mean? Just by us Googling and trying to find like certain, you know, then we started knowing like, okay, we need this. You know, we started getting we need this and that. You know, so the permits and stuff like that. But we did it from scratch. Yeah.
When it comes down to like entrepreneurship and your business, what has been the biggest sacrifice you guys had to do in your personal life to become as successful as you guys have?
Sacrifice, I would say, is like the only thing that I say that we kind of lose from is probably taking away a little bit of time from our kids, because we're so used to doing everything with them. I was luckily able with this business to leave my job. Like I said, I worked there for 15 years. That's all I knew. So I remember he had a conversation with me and he's like, I think it's time. But being a normal human, I'm like, that's all I know. Like, that's where I've been my whole life.
Was it fear? Were you scared to the stability of it as well?
Of course, because I knew it was blowing up so fast, because what helped us is like COVID had just been like barely done. So there was quinceañeras and stuff that were like totally backed up. So it was just coming, you know, it was just naturally just flowing. And we even were like, oh my God, like how did this happen so fast? So when he said like, it's time, like I was just so scared, because like I said, that's all I knew. It was a for sure paycheck that was coming in every week. So that's the difference between an entrepreneur, is if you have to grind still. It's not like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, it just comes.
Yeah.
You still have to put the work in. But it was definitely worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And in terms of challenges in the company, within the company, what do you think, if someone's starting a party bus business, the main challenges, what do you think the main challenges are they gonna, face?
Come across. I would say you follow the books and just make sure you have everything in writing. Make sure everything you do is the right way, because I mean, anybody could go buy a bus.
Yeah.
You could go buy a bus and start running it today if you want to. But the right way is you have to think about, the liability, what you have, because, if you just go run and people come after you, you could lose everything, because you have a lot of people in the back. Things could happen. So the biggest thing that I could say is just make sure you do it right. Make sure that you're able to sleep knowing that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to just go out there and just start and just say like, oh, I'm going to do this. But you take the right steps, because once you take the right steps, it all comes.
Let's talk about marketing. This is something that I love. This is something that I'm super passionate about, because it's like, I'm not going to say it's a game for me, but I treat it like a challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, what can I do? What if I do this? Would this work? Would, if I go this route, what this, like, if I promote here? So how did the influencers and you guys, was it a strategy that you guys were like, okay, we're going to target influencers? Because obviously the quinceañera business, you guys get paid from that.
Of course.
Influencers is a little different. Sometimes, they do collabs, and sometimes you work with different companies that are not like a quinceañera traditional event. And I'm telling you, because I'm a filmmaker, and it's the same thing for us. But going from doing quinceañeras and events to doing influencers, was there a strategy?
So a lot of it was daily posting. He's very good at the daily posting, he would always say, like, we got to post, because just because somebody didn't see it yesterday, they might see it today. And from there, that's when things just started growing, because he was very consistent as posting. So that's one of the things, is just keep posting, because even though you think people are not, they're watching.
Yeah.
And in the influencer world, huge shout out, Glam Tender is the one who I could say was our biggest first influencer.
Damn.
She gave us the opportunity. And she did open the door to meet a lot of new people. Yeah. So I think that's where it all began.
Yeah, so I was the one that called her, because she was having her first extravaganza.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When she was having her first extravaganza, I was like, let me call her and see, because I was trying to get a table.
Who she is.
Yeah, not knowing who she was.
Like,
I literally called her and I was like, hey, my name is Marlo. I'm from the Kings and Queens Party Buzz. And she's like, oh, hi. She's being very, being glam, you know what I mean?
Yeah, glam.
Being glam, she's very, and she sounds excited on the phone, So I like, just like, hey, I was trying to see if I could get a table, in your party and stuff. And and I want to, if you do need a party bus, we do have a party bus. If you need, if you're having a big group, if you want to take, I don't know, because I didn't ask her, like, are you taking family members? Are you taking influencers? I never asked her. I just threw her the bus and told her, like, if you need a bus, we're available, so, and then she's like, oh, I appreciate that, friend. Like, I'm for sure contact you. And then, yeah, she gave us a call, like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna need the bus. And then, boom, we showed up with the bus, and that's when we started meeting Rob the Original, Must Be Cindy.
Brittany was on the bus.
Brittany, Petro, and all them, So that's how we started meeting. That's how everything. And then we got then we got Adonais.
Yeah.
Adonais contacted us, and I was
Halloween event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we started. And that's from there, just kept going.
I think that's when I met you. It was an Adonais' Halloween party, because I went. And I told him, I'm like, hey, so he wanted me to shoot the party bus part as well. And I was like, okay, bro, but like, how am I gonna get home? Because I need to come back. I had another event with my family as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'll have the party bus guy will probably be there, and he'll take you back. And so you drove me back from the event. I don't know if you remember, but you drove me back from the event, and you're talking to me about like your whole business and how you started and everything. So that's like the first time I remember I met you.
Yeah, so that's how we kind of got it with the whole influencer thing. And, we've been blessed. We've been, Glam Tender's a very great, humble person.
Yeah.
We have so much love for her, and,
she became our fam.
Yeah. So, and, we just keep doing what we're doing, and showing people that everything's possible.
How has it been working with influencers? What do you think is like the biggest lesson that you have learned? And the reason why I ask is because there is a lot of entrepreneurs that want to hit influencers and want to get to them. So what would be an advice that you can have to share with the audience?
I think, like how you say, like, it's different doing influencers versus charging a regular person. And sometimes as a normal person, you're like, damn, but it hurt. You feel like, oh man, like I could be making this much money doing this just for a regular event.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest things is like just knowing that content helps, and just knowing that like this is not, you might be losing a little, but in the end you're kind of winning because there's just more doors that start opening for you. So I think as long as you're able to work with them and just be yourself, and a lot of them are themselves, it makes it a lot easier, because then you just build a relationship, and then it just keeps happening.
Mm-hmm. Who is someone that you guys would want to work with that you guys haven't yet?
Man.
There's a lot of people we can, we would like, I just don't have a specific person that we, that'd be a hard call to say.
Yeah. I can't really point out like one specific.
Like what would happen if Drake would have hit you guys?
Right?
Oh, imagine. That would be like,
Like, what you need?
That'd be crazy. I'd be like, okay, Drake is, I'd be like, thank you, God.
We're super, like, we try to treat these people like, we understand that they're big. We get it. But I also try to respect them as a person too,
right.
And we kind of see it like it's a blessing to come across all these people, but we come out very natural. So we try to find like the natural in them. So we kind of see it like, oh man, like these are real people.
Yeah.
These are real people. A lot of people think like, oh, like, their life is just fantastic. No, they're also grinding when they're out there doing these events. Like they're taking the time away from their fam too. So
because they can be, I always say that they're out having fun, but at the same time they have to, they're drinking, they're partying, but they're back of their mind, they're working.
Yeah, of course.
They have to be creating content, because if they don't, they just had a great night and that's it.
Yeah.
So ellos también, like they put in, like you're saying, a lot of work, and they're hustling as well all the time.
Yeah, you get to see it. Once you get closer, you get to see like these people are real.
Do they motivate me? Do they motivate you guys in terms of like the hustle, in terms of like the dedication? Because again, a lot of people have that misconception of like, oh, they just post videos. But then when you see like the dedication and like every day they post, because it's hard for me to post every day because I have my other businesses. Yeah. But like to see them, it's like every single day, every single week.
Influencers party like every week.
But like you see it like how you're saying, like people see it like, oh, they're just partying, but no, they're working. Like they're there not because they just, oh, let me, they go out with
they
their
enjoy
friends,
it, yeah.
they enjoy it. But it's part of their job, that this is how they feed their family. This is what they do. Yeah. So I do respect it a lot because it's not easy. It's not. You could see like, the way it is. The other day I was with Glam and just watching her make a video. Like from the back scene, you're like, dang, like it's not just like pick up the camera, record, and everything is good. It's really not. And then they get a lot of hate. They get a lot of like, they gotta live a lifestyle carefully, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
So what has been like? Is there a moment that you guys can share that was like a crazy moment that you guys have witnessed in the part? Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be too crazy, but like, has there been like moments where you're like, oh shit, damn, that's crazy. I didn't know this could happen. Or any scary moments?
We recently did Abuelito and Shorty Bay, and people were actually shaking the outside of the bus.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and I was like, how are we even gonna drive away? These people are like shaking the windows and like.
Yeah, because they're always trying to like get in the bus. You know what I mean? That's one thing that we always try to like be on it. Like we always ask like I always told at least one of them to be like, hey, let me know who's the ones on the bus, who's got to come in the bus, because I don't want to just have random people coming in on the bus.
Yeah, because people will try to get on.
Yeah, there's people that are always trying to, because they're drinking, they're pretty buzzed and stuff, and they just want to jump in the bus and stuff like that. And then we're like, no, like that's maybe like things that we go through, like as you could say, crazy.
Yeah,
we haven't really had like a very like. Everything blessed that nothing crazy happened.
Yeah.
Because, especially when it comes to clubs and stuff, there's a lot of things going on in clubs, There's a lot of people that, doing, crazy stuff. And lucky we don't, we haven't gone through nothing crazy like that.
I want to talk about a little bit about family. Usually when I started doing photography, or when I was a DJ back in the day, they'd be like, oh, ya tenemos el DJ aquí en la familia. How does your guys' family take the party, your guys' party bus scene? Do they get like some free shit, the free rides and stuff as well? Or,
to be honest with you, she knows I'm very, I'm very like straight up, So I don't care if you could be the president, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to my family knows you got to pay some, I can't do things. Why? Business, exactly. Why is because if, for example, right, I'm doing this event for free, right, because my family, right? If the bus breaks down, who's going to have to pay for it? I am, what I mean? And my bus breaks down, then I can't do the event that maybe if I had an event that the next day, then what? Now I'm going to miss money because I wanted to be so family with, and then the family, like, sorry, but
being like a first-time business owners in our family, it also comes with like a lot of like what are they really doing, you get a lot of and like the family where they're like, oh, what are they really doing, or what is Marlo really
what is
a lot of
pushing?
people, they don't, and the truth is like they don't understand, because not everybody could, like how you said, not everybody could be an entrepreneur. Not everybody could just go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to leave my job and I'm going to go do this because of fear. Yeah. I would say fear is a big factor for everybody, because we get so comfortable where we are that we're scared of change. So change is like, oh my God, what are they doing? Because that's kind of what we got in the beginning. Like, what are they doing? Like, they have their house, like she's leaving her job, like they're out of their mind. Yeah. But for the most part, we try to keep it where, we say like respectfully, like we have kids, we get it, like, we're family members, but at the end of the day, we got to feed our kids. And this is how we make our money.
We literally, going back to the family situation, like we've been doing our own thing since day one. We have never had no help. Like for us to call somebody and be like, hey, can you babysit my kids? I got to go, for example, go work, for example, you know what I mean? Or pick up my kids or stuff like that. We never had no help.
We've been able to work around each other's schedule.
Yeah, so we've been doing our own thing since day one. Like, so that's why, like, when it comes to like trying to give, at the end of the day, because nobody was there for me when I didn't have anything. You know what I mean? People, there's people that see, oh, how this guy got this bus, how this guy got this, and how this, because, you know what I mean? Like, people always trying to be chismosos, you know what I mean? Like, they want to see why you have this and why, like, because I never bring my business out there. I never tell people like this and then, like, because at the end of the day, it's my personal situation. Like, however, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I work hard for my stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't get no handouts.
There's literally times where he's like up at 2 a.m. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Go to sleep. But his mind is just like racing.
Always trying to make moves, you know what I mean? Trying to see how to make money and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I bought, you know what I mean? One of my big goals too, be able to buy my mama a house. You know what I mean? I was able to buy my mama a house this year, you know.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so, you know, it was a big blessing.
When we closed escrow. Right?
Yeah, so I just got her a house, you know, and I'm blessed, you know what I mean, to be able to do that for my mom, because at the end of the day, that's my mom and dad, you know what I mean? So for me, be able to do that was like one of my big goals. And I remember she didn't know nothing about it. I literally kept that to myself because, like I always say, I'm very a surprising person. I like to do things surprise. Like, I want to surprise, make it exciting and very special, you know what I mean? So I was remember coming back home. No, we were going to see when I told her and stuff, right? And then we were coming back and I literally cried. I'm like, dude, I'm literally getting my mom a house. Like, you know, like, that's crazy, you know? Like, I was able to do it. And
I think what people don't realize too is like buying your second home is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not. So I think he also had that too. Like, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? And then I think once he got comfortable knowing like, okay, it's happening. Yeah. That's when he started to be able. That's when he obviously he did not tell me at all.
Oh, he didn't
at all.
No.
At all.
Oh shit!
So all he would tell me is like, "Hey, this lady's gonna send you something electronic. Like sign it."
I never told her. Yeah, I never told her.
Sign it. But I would always be like, I know how he is, so you know who your partner is, and if you know they got no bad intentions, you're like, okay, what do you need me to do? You know?
Yeah.
So he would just be like, oh, just sign this, just do this. So I would always do it, and then I finally asked him like, hey, like, what am I signing?
Yeah. I see a house and money and all this. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, look, I didn't want to tell you because I'm a type of person that I like to keep it in me because if you speak about it, sometimes things don't happen.
Yeah,
how
you don't
want
to jinx it.
Yeah, so as I was like, you know, and then, you know, I told her, and then, you know, and then going back to like my mom's, you know, and I was like, I was talking to my mom on the phone one day before she knew I was getting her house, right? She's like, hey, son, this was really random, right? I'm talking to her right on the phone, and she's like, hey, son, like, what do you think? Like, what do you dream about, right? And I'm like, why? Like, why are you asking me that? I just want to know what you dream about. And she's like, you always dream like money this or like, I'm like, to be honest, mom, like, I'm always money, like house and stuff. Like, look, son. I cry with that. She's like, son, reality, son, I don't think I'll ever have a house. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, mom.
It was always an apartment.
Fuck.
And I'm like, mom, don't worry. I'll put you a cardboard house in my backyard. Don't trip, you know? Okay, and I said, and like messing around with her, right? And she's like, son, like, I don't think I'll ever have a house. I'm like, look, mom, one day I'm gonna buy your dream home. And then she's like, son, like, I don't think it can happen. But in my head, I'm like, only if you knew I'm getting your house.
We were ready,
you know, like, and then yeah. So when I was going to show her, when we got the escrow, everything went, you know, we got approved. I literally lied to her and I told her, mom, like the day before, I was like, mom, like, I need you to go get your, like, cause she was like, son, you want me to stay at your house? How you want me to stay at your house? I don't have no clothes and all that. Like, mom, just go, cause Glam literally told her Glam Tender she's having a big barbecue, you know, because she's real. Yeah. My mom and Glam, like, you know,
connected.
We're literally family.
Yeah. So
we told her, like, look, Glam's having family's having a big barbecue and they want us to go and she wants me to take you. She's like, okay, whatever. So she goes. She had to drive all the way to LA.
She was at our house in Fontana, but we wanted to make sure she stayed. So she had to drive all the way to Downey to go get an extra pair of clothes for the next day. Oh, thinking that she's like, what? Like, I'm pretty sure she was like, yeah. What are they up to?
Yeah.
You know?
And then so she went to get her clothes. She came back. So in the next morning, you know, like I did a whole surprise for her. So she went to take, you know, she decorated, you know, and then we're getting there, and she opens the door and she says, surprise.
She literally had no idea.
Like she almost had a heart attack. She said she got stuck. Like she couldn't believe it. I cried. I was literally crying. Like I couldn't believe it. I
think the next day she called him and she's like, am I dreaming? Like, is it real? She's like, I still can't believe it. She's like, and then she even said like, we have to celebrate again. She's like, because I was so in shock. She's like that I didn't really get to take it all in.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. You know, a lot of people that have come to the podcast, a lot of people, I would say the majority of them have said that their dream, even mine, is to buy our mom the home. Yeah. And for you to already accomplish that at such a young age too.
Yeah.
Dude, I respect that so much, bro. Like,
thank you.
I admire you, bro, because I see you work and I see you hustle, and I can tell that you have that craziness in your head with ideas.
Yeah, that thrive.
But it's a good thing that you have a partner like her, because she's there to like level you down, bring you to like, not bring you to reality, but to throw in some balance and common sense into like, okay, if you want to execute this, babe, we can do it like this.
Yeah.
And I it's so cool and it's so motivating to see a couple like you guys that work so good with each other.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. We've been, it's a very, very blessing to be able to do that. That's my mom, like we come from a really hard life, for her, and like I said, she never expected, like literally told me, like she always used to say, like, I don't think I ever have a house, son, and for me be able to do that, like that was a big goal, like accomplishment for me. And I thank God. I thank God every day for being able to do everything I do. And I'm blessed. I don't get no handouts from anybody. I really work hard for everything I do. I don't count nobody. I can have my last dollar in my bank, but I will not count nobody to give me anything or anything else. She knows, like, it's been times, before we, it's been times that I literally have maybe no money, but I literally, God blesses me and always, he guides me to where I'm at, and I'm blessed.
So being that you guys have done so many things and the journey that you guys have gone through has blessed you guys so much, what would be a solid advice that you can give someone that wants to start in the party bus scene, for them to, for it to be a little easier for them to start?
I think for me, what I would say is like, if you want it, it's possible. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people think like, oh, I'm going to go ask like this person for advice. I'm going to go. But I think sometimes that advice could like also discourage you to do something. So I think as long as like you want it and you're willing to put that work in for it, do it. If put all your into it, it's gonna pay off. I think that's the biggest thing, is just believing in yourself and knowing that you could do it, because you have that fear, but once you get over that, like you're just gonna fly. It's just gonna keep coming and coming, and then you're gonna see like, dude, like I really did it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
You just gotta be, yourself. You just gotta be yourself. Don't let, you're always gonna have negative people. That's for sure, everywhere. People trying to put you down. People always telling you the negative, always telling you the negative. And, you just got to be yourself. Just go and get your, grind hard. Don't give up. Because as soon as you give up, it's like, for example, being a barber. There's people trying to learn how to cut hair, right? And I remember this guy, I will never forget it. So when I used to be, he just started cutting hair, and he's like, dude, like, I want to cut like you. Like, I really want to, like, how do you do that? Like, how? And I'm like, you just got to keep going. I'm like, because he kept saying, like, I want to literally stop cutting hair. Like, I don't see myself learning how to cut hair, right? I'm like, dude, like, don't give up. Just keep going and keep going. And look at him now. He's actually doing good. He's actually a pretty good barber and doing it. So it's like in general, And it could be anything. You just can't give up. If you really want to, if that's what you want to do, don't give up. Just keep grinding, keep doing yourself, and keep pushing it. Just don't give up. And that's the best thing I can say.
One of the things that I always say, even like as being a mom to my kids, I had one of my boys, he's very into baseball, and I always tell him, like, one of the biggest things is, like, do you want to blend in? Like, do you just want to blend in and be, like, normal and just blend in? Or do you want to stand out? Put that hard work in, because people are watching and they're going to see. Once you put that hard work, the shine just comes. And that's one of the things I teach my kids is, like, if you want to just blend in, you're just going to have a normal... what you see is how you're going to stay. So if you want more... do it. Just put your all into it. That's the biggest thing I could say.
How are you guys taking the education side in terms of school and entrepreneurship? Because it's that's one of the challenges that I'm having with my kids. You know, like they'll be like, oh, well, I don't want to go to school. And I'm like, because they see what I'm doing. Yeah. And they know that I didn't graduate. So they're like, you're doing good. So why do I need it? And it's like, I want to go back to school to go. One of my biggest, not dreams, but one of my goals is to go back to get my GED and get that diploma for my mom, because that's something she wanted and I couldn't get it for her. So I want to go back to better my English and better my vocabulary, because if I'm doing this, I need to level up my game. I'm pretty sure you guys do the same thing with your party bus. Yeah. You know, new paint job, update the seats, update this. Yeah. So I need to update my, shit that I have going on right here. Yeah. So if I need to better my vocabulary, I need to study for that. So that's one of the things that I tell them, like, hey, you do need school, because that teaches you discipline, and that teaches you socializing with people, right? Mm-hmm. How is it for you guys, talking to your kids about that right now?
Same with me. I didn't graduate. He did. So there will be times where my kids are like, you didn't graduate, But I also tell them, like, yes, because now they see that I don't have to work. So for them, kids just see, like, oh, my mom it's good. But I always tell my kids, like, school is important, because you have to learn these first things first, like reading, all the first parts of it. You have to, because that, believe it or not, those things are what you're going to need for the rest of your life. I'm not saying, like, major school, because, like, we're entrepreneurs. But I do tell my kids, like, if you have parents that are, like, telling you go do it, like, just do it, because we didn't have the opportunity. So one of our biggest things is, like, be bigger than us. What we're doing, I want you to do more. I want you to think bigger than us, because this is just us two people who didn't come from much, and now you have a little more opportunity. Mm-hmm. We're working hard to leave you something, yes, but I still want you to be your own person. I still want you to do your own thing. Go to school, become your own person, be whatever you want to be. Mm-hmm. So for me, I always remind them, like, just because, well, he did graduate, I didn't. Yeah. I don't want you to ever think, like, that's something that you can or you don't need to do. You still need to.
Yeah. You guys came in a pretty nice car. Oh. Yeah. How is it? It's hard because, like, for instance, I grew up with, like, we grew up with not a car. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you guys are super successful in what you do. And how is it that balance of teaching your kids hunger? Yeah. Teaching them how to want and get motivated to work and get motivated, because for us, I would assume for us, it's that the struggle that we went through, the hardships that we had to overcome, the things that we saw growing up, and the situations we wanted to get out of when we were growing up. Mm-hmm. Like, my kids right now, they live next to Disneyland. I mean, what are they seeing? Yeah. You know what I mean? So how hard is it for you guys, or what do you guys do to teach them that hunger and the balance of, you can have all this, but you have to work for it?
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I should teach my kids. You know what I mean? Like, I teach them to, you know what I mean, to take, like, I was like, look, things are not free. You know what I mean? So I was putting them, like, hey, if you guys want to make some money, so I'll be cutting hair sometimes in my garage and stuff. So I was telling, like, sweep my, you know what I mean? Go sweep. If you want to make some money, go sweep. Or if you want, I'll put them to recycle. I'm teaching them, they can see things are not handouts. That's really what I'm trying to teach them. Like, don't think that, oh, my mom's going to come and give me this, or my dad's going to come and give it. No, like, I want to show you how hard it's for us to go and buy you, for example, a Barbie. You know what I mean? It's not going to, the money didn't come from the sky and be like, hey, look, I got some money and buy the Barbie.
Yeah.
No, we got to work for that. So I would like to teach my kids. I want to teach my kids, teach them that. Like, I don't want them to think things are handouts.
Yeah.
And one of the things as me as a mom, I try to teach my kids the difference. Like, you know, kids think like, oh, I clean my room, let me get like how what's the right word? Allowance, yeah. And so for me, I'm like, no, there's a difference. Like, these are things that you're gonna have to do for the rest of your life. Making your bed,
you don't get paid for that.
Yeah, that's not allowance. If you show me something different, like, hey, mom, like I went in the backyard and I pulled out some weeds, or I swept up dad's garage because he has his little barber set up in there. Something that I try to teach them, like, everyday life are things that I'm teaching you everyday life. These are things you have to do every day for the rest of your life. So don't think that, oh, I made my bed, mom's gonna go do this. So I try to teach them, like, when he's out or when we're both out sometimes, I try to teach them, like, look, we're out because we're working for you guys. Any time that I take away from you guys, we're working. So, and we also had gone to his country and the kids got to see, like, where it's where kids don't have nothing. One toy is like oh my God. So we try to teach them, like, do their chores and, everything that we do. And we talk a lot about our background to them. We're very open to them and where we come from. And, they get to see, like, they do, like you say, our kids are very fortunate. My kids all have cell phones at that age. We have cell phones, iPads, and
their expectations are already fucking high. My kid 2 days ago, he's like, "Hey, Dad, can you buy me some shoes? School just started." Yeah, he has fucking shoes. Yeah, but he's like, "Oh, I want new shoes." Like, how much are they? And he's like, they're $100. I was like, nah. He's like, why? I was like, what do you mean why? Because
that's what my kids are.
Why? Why? Like, $100 is nothing. Like, I'm like, it's nothing to you. I was like, you have it? He's like, no. I was like, well, then you don't have it. He's a barber, so he.
Oh, your son's a barber?
Yeah, he's 14. He's the one that cuts my hair.
Oh, dang, that's nice.
So I need you to give him some tips. He takes all these lines and shit. He used to fix my shit up.
Hey, that's one thing I want to teach my kids too. I want to teach my middle son. He's more like he wants to learn how to cut hair. So I want to teach him. I'm not saying for him to be a barber. If you don't want to be a barber, that's fine. But I see it like that could be your side hustle. You know what I mean? Like, say for example, if you go to college, right? You know what I mean? Obviously, you have kids or students that want to get haircuts. So you want to make a little.
Cash on the side.
You want to make some money on the side. Hey, like.
But that teaches him also a lot of things. Like right now, he's learning how to network and how to communicate with people. And before he was super shy. And now as a barber, you guys are therapists as well and shit. Yeah. So you guys do all her bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like that teaches them a lot. And that's one of the things that I tell my kids. My daughter does pastries. She has a small pastries company as well. And I tell her, like, if you don't want to, I'm willing to drop money on what you guys want to try.
Yeah.
If you don't like it within the next 5 years, or 2 years, then let me know. We'll try something else. But I want you to try. If you want to do it, I want you to put your 100% into it. Like, that's one of the things that I'm going through with my kids, which is like teaching them, like, so I'll buy you the shoes. Go cut hair. Go try.
It's the same. Our son, he plays travel ball, and all these kids have like $400 bats, and he's, we're teaching him because he's like, Mom, I need this bat. And I know he needs it. So we both know, like, okay, we're going to get him the bat. But I can't tell him, like, okay, I'm going to buy you that bat. Because he knows we can. So he's like, Mom, I really need it. Mom, I can't hit the thing. But we have to teach him, show me. Show me why you need that. Like, what are you going to do? Because we could just go buy it, but I'm not going to teach him any structure. I have to teach him. You have to earn it, because then they're just going to think all the time, like, Mom, go buy me this. Mom, go do that. And really, I don't want them to be.
I remember when I was like, when I first had my kids, and I was not in the position where I wanted to be. I'm like, dude, when I get money, I'm going to give them everything I never had. Right. But quickly, when I started doing myself, I was like, okay, never mind. I'm not going to give you that shit. Never mind.
It's crazy how you talk about that, because my mom, she gets upset sometimes. Like, why are you always buying your kid? Like, Mom, if I got it, you know what I mean? But now I see it, you know what I mean? Because before, like, maybe like a couple of years, you know what I mean? I was keep buying them maybe like every week. I was buying them toys and stuff. And I'm like, dude, why you, like, Mom, like, we didn't have that when we were little, you know what I mean? Like, because, you know what I mean? I remember my mom, you know what I mean, when we were young, I don't know if you remember, like back in the days when McDonald's, I always bring the story of McDonald's. right? Because when she used to have little extra money, she'll be like, dude, we could get McDonald's today. I'm like, oh, dude, we're about to get
It's a fucking party.
You know, yeah, like we get all excited about it, you know what I mean? Because I remember back then, cheeseburgers were like 30 cents and the hamburgers were like 25 cents. I always say that because I will never forget how excited we were to get McDonald's, you know what I mean? And now, you know what I mean, these kids nowadays are so spoiled, you know what I mean? So McDonald's to them is like, you know what I mean? They want now they want steak, lobster, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, so it's like you see things like that, you know what I mean? It's like, it's for, you know, it's like for me to be able to take my kids but you know, I teach them like, hey, you know what? Like for example, we went to the steakhouse and be like, look, like, I'm blessed. I'm able to give you guys, you know, able to bring you guys here to be able to, you know, have steak, you know, like, you know, so it's just, it's a blessing, man. It's a very blessing.
I try to just remind them all the time, like, you know, we work hard. And they see it because, I mean, he's a barber. On top of that, the party bus. So a lot of that has to do with a lot of weekends, right? Fridays, Saturdays. Him starting on Thursdays, he's just completely comes in at super late.
So you still cut hair?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, shit. Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I cut hair.
he's cutting early in the morning, like he has it set up in the garage. So he'll be cutting. So the kids do see it. They do see it. So sometimes they'll be like, oh, dad's not here. But I also take to remind them.
Yeah.
Like, if your dad's not here, he's working. Because all his extra time, he's going to give it to us.
Yeah.
So
once they get older, my kids are seeing that now. And it's going to rub off on them. And they're going to.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know, like,
yeah. When they grow up, you know what I mean? Because, like, for example, me, I still remember things when I was a little kid, you know what I mean? So, and like I say, like, my kids are going to remember. They're going to be like, dude, I remember my dad. He used to be cutting hair. Yeah. And then he, you know what I mean? He used to, you know what I mean? For anything. Like, they remember everything. Like, they'll remember everything that you did for them and like us having family, you know, travels and stuff like that. Like, because we love to go to Miami. That's one of our places that we love to go to because we have, like, you know, a lot of family over there. And my parents, I'm from Nicaragua. Like, my parents are from Nicaragua. So that's why we love going over there. Like, that's one of my kids love to go and we go there. That's our little travel spot that we go to.
I try to teach them too because, you know, you give them food and they're like, I don't like that. Or I don't like this. And I'm like, you know how many kids out there would just be so happy to even give it like a meal, to have a good meal? Like,
and that's what I say, that it's super hard because I think one time we were talking, my son's like, do you know, like, every time you get mad at us for, like, not, you know, this and that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, is it our fault? And I was like, what? Is it our fault that we grew up when you were in a good place? And that shit hit me. I was like, well, no, it's not your fault. But that's where it's like, it's hard to now get them to understand. Because at the end of their kids.
Yeah, of course.
And they see their friends, right? They see their friends going out and going all over the place. We had that. I mean, I had that freeness when I was growing up where my mom was working all the time and no one could watch us. So we would be out with our friends in the night and everything, like coming out.
Playing freeze tag or whatever.
Everything, like ding dong ditching and everything. Like we would be messing around and doing crazy shit. And now it's like, oh, can we go over here? Can we go? I'm like, fuck. I'm like, you know, I'm scared, you know, like I'm scared to let you guys go because there's so many situations where it could have gone wrong in my childhood.
Yeah.
Where it's like now I'm like overprotective of them and like trying to. He tells my oldest son. He tells me like, dude, how do you want me to, you know, be tough and you don't want me to go like around the corner and stuff, you know, like do stuff. So that's what's like super hard for me right now. Yeah. Like trying to balance that.
Talking about that, you know what I mean? I come from, you know what I mean, I come from South Central, you know what I mean? So that's like you're saying, like, you don't want to let your kids out and stuff like that because, you know what I mean, there's a lot of crazy things going on. You know what I mean? I teach my kids too. Like, I tell my daughter, like, if somebody tries to give you candy or try to tell you, like, don't get nothing. Like, I don't want you to get any candy, or if somebody tries to tell me, oh, come here, it tells you to come here or anything, like, no. Like, I try to tell them now, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of crazy things going on in this world, man, you know? So you need to be careful, you know, who you talk to, or you know what I mean, kids especially, you know what I mean, you see people taking kids and kidnapping or whatever they're doing, you know what I mean, so
crazy.
But it's definitely true, like, you know, coming back to where you say, like, is it their fault? Because they don't know. So our kids don't even know the lifestyle. They don't even have.
They can't even feel it.
They can't. Yeah, they can't. They can't at all. So like when they'll hear our stories, they'll be like, "Really?" You know. And we try to, that's why I say we're very open, and we talk a lot about our lives and where we come from, and we try to educate them like on that back part. But it's also a blessing. It is a blessing to know that your kids are not growing up where you're growing up, or going through what you're going through. So sometimes you're like, damn, these spoiled kids. But then you're like, but you know what? I'm it's a blessing to be able to give them what we were never able to, grow up.
Yeah, when I talk to my friends sometimes, they're from LA and stuff, like, hey, how you like the IE? I'm like, man, I'm in Disneyland, man. I'm hanging out. You don't gotta hear the chopper every day. You don't gotta hear the cops every day.
Or even the kids, like the school's like 5 minutes. Like I remember walking like 35 minutes to
30 minutes to an hour. Yeah,
I'll take the bus.
And my kids are like, my kids are like dying because they have to walk home 5 minutes. And I'm like, it's not that. We used to walk like 30, 40 minutes. Like we had no choice. Our parents were either working or just couldn't get us. We had to.
Nuts. Well, I thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys the time. I really enjoyed the conversation. You guys are fucking crazy, man. You guys are people that I really admire, and really, you guys motivate me right now. Just hearing you guys' story just makes my life and makes me think in the perspective of like, I should be grateful that I have what I have, and that in the position that I'm in, because like, the things that you went through, it's like you never know. And sometimes we take things for granted, and we don't really appreciate where we are, and we're super hard on ourselves. So last question I have before we go, like, what keeps you guys going? What keeps you guys motivated to continue to work hard and to do what you guys do?
Our kids.
Yeah. Our kids.
I'm
a type of person that I think about future. You know what I mean? So I know it's very expensive, colleges and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I want my, we have our sons and my daughter. I wanted to play travel ball, and I know that's very expensive. So, you know what I mean? I know that's one thing that really pushes me to, you know what I mean? Because people, there's, you know what I mean, in general, that just think about right now, what things going right now. But you got to think about the future, you know what I mean? Because, how things are now, like California is expensive, you know what I mean? So you gotta be ready. You know what I mean? You have to be ready, you know what I mean? So that's why I think, about that.
It's our kids. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is our kids, because just to be able to leave them something, and to be able to know, like, if something were to happen to us, my kids are good, my kids are going to be okay. And that's one of the things that just keeps us going, because if, like I said, if we just blend in and we just stop and say, you know what, like our business is already going, like money is flowing, then this is it. And no, like God gave us a big second opportunity, and we're here for a reason, and we've gone through what we've gone through to be able to show our kids, that we could keep going. It's not just it, because our kids are like, dang, you guys have it good. They just see the good of it.
But they don't see what we got to go to get the good of it.
Like,
you know
and
what I mean?
How you said, like, they see the nice cars, we have a nice house, but this is not it. And that's what I want. That's what I want my kids to take from their parents. Like, I don't have to stop. I could keep going. There's so much out there. There's so many opportunities. And as long as you do it, they could do it. And that's one of the examples I think that we both, have.
That's one thing that, you know what I mean? Like, bringing back to my, like my situation of the coma and stuff. And I always say, like, I would have died happy. Why? Because I have life insurance. Both of us have life insurance. So I would have made, you know what I mean? They wouldn't have been struggling, because they would have, I would have took care. I didn't have to, I wanted my kids.
You're prepared.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm bringing that up, because there's something about myself that I want to be prepared, like you say, prepared of, the future and whatever situation for my kids. Because at the end of the day, they're my kids. Yeah. I didn't have what they're, I'm blessed to be able to do that for them.
And they're not going to understand, because they just see like, oh, we're good.
Yeah.
We have everything good. Like.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate the conversation. You guys are super inspiring couple. I'm going to leave their links down below for those of you who want to go. Make sure you guys go follow all their social media platforms. I'm also going to leave my social media platforms here. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys once again.
Thank you.
With that being said, we'll see you guys in the next
See you
episode.
guys. Thank you. 15
Hey,
baby. Thank you.